Kelvin, and the third one is Fahrenheit scale. These are the three different scales in which temperature is measured. Okay. So usually in exam, this question might be asked to convert from Celsius to Kelvin or from Kelvin to Celsius. Okay. Usually as of 7th standard, conversion between Fahrenheit to Celsius, like you have to convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius or Celsius to Fahrenheit, or like Fahrenheit to Kelvin or vice versa. These are usually not asked in the exam. So let us quickly revise this topic. Okay. Razan, by the way, you also have this chapter heat now? Yes, Razan? Huh. Okay, also right now, what our approach is in the batch, we will be taking up a new chapter once your exams starts. I mean to say, when your exam will be over, then a new chapter will be started in the batch, and that chapter will be common for everyone. Everyone has to be present in those chapters. Okay. Right now, like in the previous class, Razan had some doubts in the chapter respiration in organisms. So she was only present, so that chapter was going on. Right now, Sulban is also present, so his doubt is also being taken here. Getting it, guys? So let us understand. So say that if the temperature is given in Celsius and you need to convert it into Kelvin, just have a look at this. If the temperature is given in the Kelvin scale, and I have to convert that in, sorry, I mean to say, if the temperature is given in the degree Celsius, we have to convert that into Kelvin scale. Let's see what we have to do. So let's take up a question. Convert 0 degree Celsius into Kelvin, meaning that what will be 0 degree Celsius in the Kelvin scale? Okay. Okay. So formula here is that to convert from Celsius to Kelvin, we always add 273. Getting it, guys? We have to add 273 to the given temperature in Celsius. So here it will be Celsius equals to whatever temperature is given in the, just 1 minute. So whatever temperature is given in the Celsius, just add 273 to that. So here it's 0 degree Celsius, add 273. So that will be simply 273 Kelvin. Let's take up one more question. Let's say now you have to convert 5 degrees Celsius into Kelvin. So you have to convert from Celsius to Kelvin. So to convert from Celsius to Kelvin, we have to simply add 273. So again, here you will be doing the same thing just now we have it here. So it will be 5 degrees Celsius plus 273. That will be equal to how much? 278 Kelvin. Getting it, both of you? Yeah, Suleiman, you getting it particularly? Also, right now, I have joined from my smartphone. So, Suleiman, you can answer on that ID. Okay, now you have to answer on this one. This one, like this. One more ID from which I have joined, like on this one. Okay. All right. On this one, you have to answer. So I will be looking at your chat from this one. Yes, Suleiman, this one. Okay. So you understood this now, how to convert from Celsius to Kelvin. Razan, you also understood this now. Yes. Okay. So let me give you guys one question. The question is that convert 34 degrees Celsius into Kelvin scale. What will be it equal to in the Kelvin scale? Both of you do this and answer in the chat box. Yes, Razan? I don't know how to do this. Okay. What I said 2 minutes ago, like to convert from Celsius to Kelvin. From degree Celsius, you have to convert into Kelvin. So what you have to do, you have to add 273. Okay. So whatever temperature is given in degree Celsius, just add 273 to that. Okay, what answer you have given? Yeah, that is correct. Very good, Suleiman. Your answer is correct. Okay, you have like, sir, in the crystallization assignment, the question one, two, question number one, two A and B are the answers of these questions. Evaporations. Like, what do you mean to say, Razan, in the crystallization assignment? Question number one, two, A and B are the answers of these questions. Can you just share the screenshot of that to the team? I will have to go to that PDF in order to look at it. If you have the screenshot, if you have it with you, just share it with the team. I will get it from them. Okay, Razan. Like, what exactly is you? Yes.
Didn't you receive my assignment?
When did you upload it, Razan? Today or earlier?
I think my father is uploaded now.
Right now you have uploaded.
Yes.
So right now I wouldn't be able to see it now. Like, uh, I will be able to look at it after the class. Okay. Hmm. So now you understood this, Razan, how we have to do this. So this will be 34 degrees Celsius plus 273, and that will be equal to 307 Kelvin. Okay, 307 Kelvin. Suleiman, also make sure that you write the K for Kelvin also. Don't miss that, okay? Okay, come on, both of you do one more question in this. Convert 98 degrees Celsius into Kelvin. Like this chapter heat, it has been done in your school, Razan, as you told me.
No, sir.
No, earlier I was asking you about this. I think you had told me it has been done. In the previous class, I believe I was asking you this.
In this class?
In the previous class, I was asking you about your syllabus. So there you told me that the chapter heat, it has been done in your school.
Yeah, the chapter heat is done.
So this question is from the chapter heat only. Okay.
The answer, I sent the answer in the chat.
Let me look at it. Okay, what answer you're giving, Sulman? Three. Okay. That is correct, Sulman. Good. So make sure to keep this thing, to memorize this thing. Whenever you have to convert from Celsius to Kelvin, you have to add 273. But when we will be doing the opposite, then we have to subtract 273. Getting it, guys? Okay. Rzan, do it quickly.
Sir, I sent the answer. Right?
I think you have shared it on the wrong ID, I think. Maybe
Okay.
on this one you have shared. Okay, see, you have shared it here. Actually, you are shared meant to share it on the other ID. Okay. By the way, your answer is correct. Good. Both of you good. That is 371 Kelvin. Okay. Again, Suleiman, you haven't mentioned the Kelvin. Make sure to mention the Kelvin also. Okay. Now, what if I were to convert it from Kelvin to Celsius? Now, convert Kelvin to degrees Celsius. Kelvin, what does it mean? In short, you have to write it like this. No need to write 371 Kelvin like this. Just write 371 K in short, capital K. Okay. Kelvin is in fact the SI unit of heat. Kelvin, in fact, is the SI unit of heat also, and it was named after a person. Kelvin was the name of a person, by the way. Okay. So get back. Let us get back to what we were learning. So how to convert from Kelvin to Celsius? So there you have to subtract 273. In this case, you'll be subtracting 273. Getting it, guys? So let us say you are provided with 298 Kelvin. So in order to convert this into degree Celsius, what I have to do? I have to subtract 273 from it. So that will be 298 minus 273. And that should be equal to how much? Yes, Razan, that should be 25 degrees Celsius. Got this thing. So what we had learned before this, that to convert from Celsius to Kelvin, you have to add 273. But when you have to convert from Kelvin to Celsius, you have to subtract 273. Is that thing clear to both of you? Okay, I'm giving one question if it is clear. Here, Razan. Convert 345 Kelvin to degree Celsius. What will be it equal to in degree Celsius? No, Razan. No, it will not be that big. No. What you have to do, you have to like 345 minus 273. This is what you have to do. From the given number, you have to subtract 273. Like the temperature here is in Kelvin, you have to convert this into degree Celsius too. So you have to subtract 273. Do it once again. Suleiman, you still haven't answered it. Yeah, no, it is correct. That is 72 degrees Celsius. It will be the answer. So 72 degrees Celsius, that is what 345 Kelvin will be equal to in the degree Celsius scale. It's 72 degrees Celsius. Suleiman, are you
How did
facing?
we get,
Yeah.
why do we subtract it with 273?
Why did we subtracted it? Okay. See, the scales have been designed in such a manner, like the scales have been designed in such a manner. Okay, they are different. They are what do we see? Like if you were to look at the scales themselves, like there are 100 divisions in this scale. Okay, in this one there is 220 divisions in the Fahrenheit scale, but in the Kelvin scale there is around between 273 Kelvin to 373 Kelvin. So they also the divisions are different. So since their divisions are different, so because of that we have to subtract them. Okay, no? Not only subtraction and addition is only possible in the case of Celsius and Kelvin scale, but when we come in the when we look in the case of Fahrenheit or Celsius, so there's a complex formula that we have to use. Okay, no? So why it is done like for that, I would say that like when the scientists designed it and when they came up with how I can convert it from Fahrenheit to degree Celsius or Celsius to Kelvin. So then they came up with some standard methods. So this is a standard method actually, with the help of which we are able to convert it. Why we are using this specific number? For that purpose, we will have to look into how that specific number was derived. Okay, no? So we don't have to go into in that much of depth. Getting it? Okay, Sulman, hope it is clear. Hope your doubt is clear. And Razan, you still haven't got your syllabus from the school now?
Yes.
You still haven't got it. Okay, okay.
No.
All right. So for you, we were doing the chapter respiration. That chapter was going on, and few things were left to be discussed in that chapter. So let's get quickly complete that. Okay. So in the previous class, we were learning about the mechanism of breathing, right now. So how, due to the increase and decrease in the size of the chest cavity, uh, how we'll be able to breathe in air and how we'll be able to breathe out the air. Getting it? So there we had learned about the mechanism of inhalation and exhalation in detail. How, due to less pressure, when the diaphragm will be moving down and the when ribs moves up, so because of this the chest cavity increases. So due to the increase in the chest cavity, the size increases and hence pressure decreases here. So there's a pressure difference. As compared to our body, the pressure outside the body is high. Our body inside the chest cavity, the pressure is low. Because of this pressure, air moves in here. Right now, air moves in. That is the case in the that is what happens in inhalation. While in exhalation, what we had learned that the diaphragm would be moving up, while ribs would be moving down and inward, because of which the chest cavity, it reduces in size. And when something is smaller in size, the pressure inside is more. Right now, we did learn with the help of these boxes. A small box has more pressure in it, while a bigger box has less pressure in it. So we can relate it with that example. So this, let us say that this is a small area because of which pressure inside this is more, while outside the body pressure is low. So here, from high pressure to low pressure, the air will be moving out, and that air which goes out from the lungs, which goes out from the body, is rich in carbon dioxide. Getting it? So that is the case. So this was the mechanism of breathing. Okay. Today we would be learning about respiration in detail, and then later on we'll be learning about difference different types of respiration. But before that, let us quickly sum up the difference between respiration and breathing. Okay. By the way, Suleiman, I don't think you have this chapter in your syllabus, like respiration. It's not for you, no? Just answer in the chat box. It isn't. Okay, so I'm going to give you some questions from your syllabus. I will be providing it in the chat box. So you have to do those questions, okay? All right, now just do that and upload it in the chat box only. From there, I will be able to see, or you can send it to the team as well. Okay. Okay. So first of all, talking about breathing. Breathing, we say that it's a physical process. It's a physical process. While when we talk about the case of respiration, so there we get to know that respiration, it is a chemical process. What is it? It is a chemical process. Where what happens? Why we say that it is chemical process? Because here glucose is broken down to obtain different products from it. Like the product could be carbon dioxide, water, and energy as well. Okay. So here a chemical reaction, it's being called a chemical process because the given substance has been changed into new products. So that is the nature of a chemical change. Like whenever new products are formed in a given reaction, so that is called as a chemical reaction. So hence it is considered as a chemical process. But in the case of breathing, simply it's kind of an exercise of taking in oxygen rich air. We intake this, while we we exhale carbon dioxide rich air. So it is a physical process. Getting it? Okay. While the process of breathing, the what are the organs and the parts that participates in it? Just tell me. Which organs and parts of the body participates in breathing? Yes, Razan.
In which?
In breathing, which organs and parts of the body will be participating?
Lungs.
lungs,
Heart.
heart,
The
nostrils.
this
Why you're saying heart? I didn't paid attention here. So why you'll be counting heart in it? No, heart doesn't have any function there. Okay, the function of the heart is to pump the blood. Okay, so it is lungs, it is the windpipe, okay, which is also called as trachea. Then you have nostrils, nostrils and nasal passage. These are the parts.
nasal cavity.
This, let's look over here. Nose, nostril, and then this nasal passage, and then you have this trachea, or also called as the windpipe, and then the lungs. Getting it? These are the parts. But when we'll be looking at the case of respiration, so here we will get to look at that. It will occur in the cells. Occurs inside the cells. To be specific, occurs inside the cells in a part called as mitochondria. So it will be occurring inside the mitochondria. Got this? What I'm trying to say? It will be occurring inside the
What is the
mitochondria. It's one of the structure found inside the cell, which we'll be learning about. Okay, just like you have a kitchen in the house where the production of the food takes place, the food is cooked. So in a similar manner, you can understand this. Okay, in a similar manner, you can understand this. So that is one such a difference here. While in the process of breathing, is there any release of energy in this? Yeah, in the breathing process, is there any release of energy here?
yes,
Yes or no? I can't hear you clearly. Repeat again. No.
yes,
How is there a release of energy here? Is any energy being released in the process of breathing? Like, do you get energy after breathing, like, or do you get energy after eating the food? We get it after eating the food, no? Yeah, exactly. So there isn't any release. Yeah, Razan?
I thought you were saying like when you're breathing, you use energy.
Oh, no, no, not in that context. Okay, no. I was talking about like energy is given out or not. Okay. So no energy is produced. But what we know in this case, that in the case of the respiration, energy is released here. So energy is released in this process. Got this, no? Okay, I have given you a few questions here. Suleiman, I'm sending you some questions. Okay, so answer them. Yeah, I have shared it with you. Hope you can see it. There are 7 questions. Do it and answer in the chat box only. Okay. Okay. So hope this much of basic difference is clear. Later on, as we go through the chapter, we'll be learning. You can't see them. Just tap on the image. It will be visible. When you will be tapping on the image, Suleiman, it will be opening, or there will be an option to save it. It's not coming. Or just give me a minute. I'm sharing it. Nothing happens. Just 1 minute. See if it is still not. See if it opened. Okay, okay, good. If it is not visible, then do let me know. So let us now learn about respiration. Okay, now, like what respiration is. Okay. In general, first of all, let me tell you that respiration basically is a process. It basically is a process in which the breakdown of the food takes place. The food will be broken down to obtain energy from it. To obtain energy from it. But we know that the life is very complex. There are complex living organisms living on Earth. Some of them are visible, some of them are not visible. the organization, the complexity of different animals is different. So when we get to know about respiration, different organisms would be carrying out this respiration in different manners. In simple, we define respiration that we'll be defining it as the process. It is the process of breakdown of the food to release energy and some other products. So that is what respiration in general is. Okay. Another important thing is that the energy that is released in the process of respiration, it can be stored. Okay, na? It can be stored by that living organism. Okay. So it's a process that will be occurring in all the living organism. And where does it occur? If the question is like where it occurs, so it occurs inside the cells. Getting it, Razan? Inside the cells. Okay. So it occurs inside the cells of all the living organisms, whether it be multicellular organism which you can see, or whether it be the unicellular organism which you can't see. Right? Got this, Razan, so far? Okay. Now another question is that where exactly inside the cell? Like a cell has so many things in it. Like this is a cell. This is the nucleus of the cell, right? This is the nucleus. This is the cell membrane. This is the cytoplasm. So where exactly it occurs? Like there are so many tiny things that floats inside the cell. So inside the cell we have a structure called as mitochondria. Very good. Mitochondria. Mitochondria. So this is the in this mitochondria the process will be occurring. The process of respiration inside the cell will be occurring inside the mitochondria. So in the cell it occurs in mitochondria.
There's also something like vacuum.
Vacuoles are also there. Yeah, there are structures like vacuoles are also there. Right now, vacuoles would be providing turgidity to the cells. It has different function. Like it provides turgidity to the cell. Turgidity means stableness to the cell. It makes the cells stable. Okay. It can store food and water also. It can store food and water also. So it performs multiple functions in the cells. Getting it? Okay. So what happens in the process of respiration? Basically, the breakdown of the food will be taking place here, will be happening here. Okay. Now, there are different types of respiration. There are mainly two types of respiration. One, where the respiration will be occurring with the help of oxygen, for which oxygen will be required. The respiration is of two types. One where oxygen will be required, so that will be called as aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration. And another one where the oxygen will not be required, and that will be called as anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration. So hope that much should be clear. Okay, so this was about respiration in brief. Now we are going to learn about the types of respiration, like what will occur in respiration and what will be there in the case of anaerobic respiration. Have you noted it, all of this down? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, let us learn about aerobic respiration. Just read the given paragraph first of all. Read this from here. Aerobic respiration, start reading from here.
Aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration. It is a type of cellular respiration that takes place in the presence of oxygen to produce energy. It is a continuous process that takes place within the core cells of animals and plants. This process can be explained with the help of the chemical equation glucose plus oxygen equal to carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. Examples for aerobic respiration are all multicellular organisms like birds, animals, insects, humans, etc.
Hmm. Good. So far, what we're getting in the case of aerobic respiration is that, like, this will be taking place in the kind of those organisms which will be surviving on oxygen. Like we humans, most of the multicellular organisms like insects, animals, birds, almost all the different organisms that you see around, that you see in the surrounding, all of them survives in oxygen. And those organisms that are able to survive in the presence of oxygen only, they will be carrying out aerobic respiration. Like we do need oxygen. Without oxygen we can't survive. And where exactly that oxygen is required? So that oxygen is required to break down the food and obtain energy from it. Getting it? So we humans, most of the animals that we see around us, in fact the plants also, okay, so the food is broken down with the help of oxygen to obtain energy from it. Along with getting energy, some byproducts like water and carbon dioxide will also be formed in the process of aerobic respiration, right? Also, one important thing is that the amount of energy that is released is high. So high amount of energy is released in the process of aerobic respiration, and human beings and many other animals would be undergoing this aerobic respiration, right? So that is in short about aerobic respiration. Getting it? Okay, so hope it should be clear. Okay. Also many times no, like the animals that will be doing aerobic respiration, meaning that the organisms that do aerobic respiration are sometimes called aerobes. Aerobes. Sometimes we know them by this name. Okay. So this is the term sometime we will be using for them. Okay. Yes, Suleiman, you done with those questions? Those are objective questions. I think by now you should be done. There were 7 questions. Okay, you have answered it.
Yes,
Okay, I didn't saw it. Okay, let me just go through it. What kind of change does a glowing electrical bulb undergo? So you have answered physical change. Very good. Burning of wood, that is chemical change. Correct. So out of this precipitation of rain and snow, that isn't obviously a chemical change. Good. Question number 4. Why is rusting of iron grouped under chemical change? Because a new substance is formed, and that is iron oxide. Right now, that is what happens in the case of rusting. A new substance is formed, that is iron oxide. In question number 5, copper sulfate plus iron, then you have iron sulfate plus copper. Okay, so that is a chemical change. Okay, like you also had studied this chapter of physical and chemical change. Razan, I think you were present there. In fact, huh? To
yes.
answer this question, I have this question, and both of you will be required to answer this. Copper sulfate, when it reacts with iron, so as a result of that reaction, iron sulfate plus copper is formed, and this is indeed a chemical reaction. What is the color of copper sulfate and what is the color of iron sulfate? Answer this much to me, both of you.
Um,
This is copper sulfate.
finished, sir. Chat I have
If
it.
in chat, you can write down in the chat also. Copper sulfate reacting with iron to give out iron sulfate and copper. Yeah, that is very good, correct. Very good, Rizan. That is correct. Suleiman, I'm waiting for your answer. I can give you
What?
some. I'm waiting for your answer as well. I can give you some option like is it blue, is it yellow, and giving you option for iron sulfate also. Is it pink or is it green?
Sir, is it blue?
Which one? Copper sulfate, no?
Yes, sir.
Good. And iron sulfate? It
Yellow?
is? No, I haven't even
Green?
provided the option here. In
Oh.
Mhm. That is green. Okay. Okay, then let us continue from where we left. Okay. Okay, I'm providing going to send you some more questions, Sulaiman. Okay, now. Mm. Just do one thing in the chat box. I'm going to give some questions. You just have to define them. Okay. Or just do one thing. Write the definition on a sheet of paper and just upload it in the chat box. There you have an option. Like there is an option like this. From there you can add it. Okay. The question to you is that first of all, write the importance of forest. Write down this. Next, you will have to write the function of a small intestine. So two questions from two different chapters. Okay. You can take the screenshot of the question because I'll be switching the slide. Yeah, done. Okay. Let us continue from where we left our discussion. So we were talking about aerobic respiration. Okay, so here what we get to see that the glucose will be broken down with the help of oxygen to get energy, and carbon dioxide and water is also formed as a result of this reaction. Plus energy release in this process is high. High amount of energy will be released here. Okay. And as I was saying that where it will be occurring, so it will be occurring inside a structure inside the cell called as mitochondria. This is the structure of a mitochondria. Getting it, Razan? That is
Yes.
mitochondria. And this here is being shown. That is the mitochondria. Okay. Now, since this respiration occurs inside the cell, now, so many times respiration is also called as cellular respiration. This is also a term many times we use to call respiration. So it is more appropriate to say cellular respiration because it occurs inside the cell. Okay. Now I have one question like why we feel hungry after instant workout. Think of this.
Because you'll be tired after.
Yeah.
Because we'll be tired after the work.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me help you in this. Okay, whenever you are doing any kind of workout, so at that time, what we observe that we will be breathing more. Our breathing rate increases now.
Yes.
So breathing rate that increases. So we are taking up more oxygen. So we take up more oxygen than normal. So if more oxygen is being taken up, so thereby the process of breaking down of the food into energy will speed up. Like this process of breakdown of oxygen of glucose will increase now when more oxygen is available.
Yeah.
Getting it?
Yeah.
So breathing rate increases, so thereby we take up more oxygen. So as a result, the process of breaking down of food into energy increases. That increases. Got this? So this is the reason here.
Yeah.
Okay. So food plus oxygen, since there's more oxygen available now, so thereby water plus carbon dioxide plus energy is being released here. That's why after workout we feel hungry. We feel hungry after instant workout, because whatever food you have used, we have eaten, most of the food has been broken down since you took more oxygen. So now your stomach is empty. So thereby now you need to take some food. So that was all about aerobic respiration. Okay. So we have learned about different things in the case of aerobic respiration. If you have any doubt in that, please let me know. So first thing we learned that aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen, right? Next we learned that high energy is released. High amount of energy is released in this. Then we learned that organisms that do this kind of respiration is called as aerobes. 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 Okay. Also, we learned that along with release of energy, carbon dioxide and water is also formed. That is one thing. Okay. So this was all about aerobic respiration. Let us learn about anaerobic respiration. So this type of respiration happens in the cells in the absence of oxygen. In the absence of oxygen, getting it? That is the thing about anaerobic respiration. Or also when it will be occurring in the absence of oxygen, so amount of energy that will be released here, that will be low. So low amount of energy is released in the case of anaerobic respiration. Some of the organisms that will go through this anaerobic respiration are organisms like anaerobes. Like here we have an example of yeast, or here we have a bacteria. In fact, even in the case of humans, sometimes this anaerobic respiration can occur. Okay, now anaerobic respiration will be occurring in the muscles of human beings also. There we will learn that what exactly happens. As of now, just read this given paragraph. Yes, Razan,
Yes, sir.
read the given paragraph.
Yes, sir. Anaerobic respiration. It is a type of cellular respiration that takes place in the absence of oxygen to produce energy. The chemical equation for anaerobic respiration is glucose to alcohol plus carbon dioxide plus energy.
Hmm. Low amount of energy is formed. Okay. Suleiman, try to send the answers before class ends. Okay, Suleiman.
Can I send the answers?
We have shared it.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't see it. By mistakenly, have you shared it here? You have shared it here actually, no? Okay. Okay, anyways. See, not in such a general manner, Sulaiman. Like, okay, these are the valid points. That's forest providers with oxygen, shelter, water. You could have elaborated it further. See that it's a 4 or 5 mark question. Okay, na? So if we let us say if I were to write this much, the examiner will not be giving me sufficient marks. Okay. So like what exactly happens in the small intestine? Okay, we know that the food would be further digested in the small intestine. In fact, it's the site of complete digestion. The food is completely digested in the small intestine. But what exactly does happen there? Yeah, Razan, can you tell me what exactly happens to food in the small intestine? Yeah. Yes, like some digestive juices are like say that this is our small intestine. And a small intestine would be receiving secretion from the pancreas, right now. Pancreas secretes pancreatic juice into this. Pancreas secretes pancreatic juice into the small intestine. So what is the role of the pancreatic juice? What it will do? The liver also secretes bile juice in it now. isn't it?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Then we know that the walls of the small intestine also secretes intestinal juices. Intestinal juices are also secreted by the walls of a small intestine. So mainly there are three secretions here: intestinal juice, pancreatic juice, and bile juice. So whenever you talk about digestion of the food in the small intestine, so you have to explain about the role by the bile juice, pancreatic juice, and the intestinal juice. Without discussing it, it will be incomplete. Getting it, Suleiman? Okay. So do one thing. You still have some time. Write down their functions. What function do they perform? What do they do to the food? Okay, now just write it on a sheet of paper. It will be more convenient. While typing will take more time. Okay, let's continue with this. So what we're learning about anaerobic respiration is that there are some organisms which can even in the absence of oxygen. Okay, and they can survive in extreme conditions, right? Or they can do anaerobic respiration in absence of oxygen, or if there's a low availability of oxygen, if the oxygen is not available in sufficient amount, so there they will be still able to get energy, but the energy that they will be deriving will be low energy. So here what happens, the glucose is converted into alcohol, carbon dioxide, and energy. But earlier in the case of aerobic respiration, what we have seen that glucose, when it reacts with oxygen, it will be converted into carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Alcohol was not formed in the case of aerobic respiration, but in the case of the anaerobic respiration, glucose is converted into alcohol, carbon dioxide, and energy. That is one thing. Okay. And the organisms that will be doing this type of respiration are called as anaerobes. And the examples are this yeast, some bacterias, and in some situations in the muscle cells. Even in fact, in our muscle cells also, sometimes this anaerobic respiration can occur. Got this? Furthermore, as we were learning about the example of the yeast, so when anaerobic respiration will be done by the yeast now, it will be called as fermentation. When it is done by the yeast, it is called as fermentation. In the case of fermentation, what happens? Glucose is being broken down into ethanol. Basically, it's a type of alcohol, carbon dioxide, and energy. And in fact, this has one application also, like when we add some alcohol, when we add some yeast powder in a dough now, so what happens? The dough starts to rise. If you were to leave the dough for some time, the dough starts to rise. Getting it? So when you have added yeast into dough, and let's say you have added some water and sugar also in it, what is you're doing here? Let us say that I have taken some flour in it. I have added water. It should be slightly warm. Let's say I've taken some warm water. I have taken some sugar in it. Plus, the most important thing, I have added yeast powder in it. Yeast powder has also been added in this. So, what do we observe? Our observation is that if this was the size of the dough in it earlier, let's say this was the size of the whole mixture, after a few minutes, it will rise and its size will become bigger like this. So, what exactly happens here? That the yeast powder, it will start to feed on the glucose. So what is glucose here? Flour is basically made out of wheat now. Getting it, guys? And wheat contains glucose in it, along with many other carbohydrates. So glucose is present here. I am adding sugar in it also. So glucose, sugar, this will be the food for the yeast powder or not? This serves as the food for the yeast powder, no? So yeast powder will be breaking down this food, and as a result of that, gas like carbon dioxide is formed. So when carbon dioxide gas is formed, so thereby bubbles will start to form inside this. These tiny bubbles will start to form inside this, as a result of which it increases in size. The size increases. Got this, Rizan?
Yes.
Okay, now. So this is the utilization of yeast, in fact. Okay, now. And this process is called as fermentation. Fermentation is a process that will be converting glucose into alcohol, carbon dioxide, energy, and this has some application also. Like this is used in the baking industry. Okay, so in the baking industry, yeast is used. Got this, no? That is the case here. Answer this question, Rizan. Suleimani, have you answered it?
See, carbon dioxide bubbles fill the dough.
Very good. But you see, it's all the correct. All of them are correct here actually, because yeast also reproduces rapidly here. The number of yeast powder will also rapidly multiply here. Okay, now since it serves as a nutrition when it gets the right nutrition, and when it gets the right condition, then it numbers also starts to multiply. So like this is a yeast, single yeast, it will multiply like this. Okay, Razan. So it will be multiplying in the number also. So it reproduces multiple rapidly as well. It produces carbon dioxide during respiration, and carbon dioxide increases the volume of the dough, and this bubble will be filled inside the dough. That is why the size of the dough rises, and hence it is used in the baking industry. So all of the given options are correct. Salman, you still haven't answered it. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Okay, Sulaiman is not here in the class. Okay, Razan, so that's it for today. We'll be continuing from the next class. Okay.